Missing dot pattern. An excerpt from Devsena Mishra's article Missing Dot Pattern, Spotlight and Capacity Building Opportunity for Bharat, published in Vivekananda International Foundation, VIF. On 22nd March 2016, something interesting happened in the tech world. Almost all web platforms started crashing within a few minutes, from small enterprise apps to giants like Facebook, Netflix, Spotify, Airbnb, etc. At one point, it seemed that the entire internet-based infrastructure with billions of lines of code is about to crash, and the web of dependencies is going to a halt. Interestingly, the reason for that was not some state-sponsored targeted attack or some hacktivist's amusement, etc. It was the aftermath of a heated argument over the name of his package that provoked a 28-year-old developer Azar Kokulu to delete a few lines of his code, some 11 lines from his module, from the open-source project NPM, an open-source collection for JavaScript code, on which a majority of web developers around the world depends on. Although it was a less expansive software failure as compared to other incidents in history, from Ariane 5 to Theric 25 to Y to K, it reminds us about the interesting characteristics of the computer programs, a basic unit of code, where only by removing a tiny dot or a semicolon from the place where it is needed, billions of lines of code can be crashed within a fraction of seconds. No matter how glorious your software development process, tools, frameworks, and investment are, a tiny dot is capable enough to shatter all that like a house of cards. There is a tendency to look out for a grand plan and strategies behind grand challenges, and we often hunt for a pattern behind everything. Sometimes the patterns exist, but sometimes, be it a computer or the real world, even a tiny dot matter. By removing or misplacing a single dot from a system or process, including thought process, its meaning could be altered or completely turned around. Let's take a reference from the experiences of our country in the recent past. What has changed in the last 9 years? Why have the same institutions, people, or processes that were not able to deliver earlier, under the previous governments, now yielded remarkable results? There were some competent and talented people in previous administrations too, but then what was missing at that time? That despite everything, they could not deliver or leverage their capabilities the way they could have. There can be several reasons for that, and at different levels, those reasons are valid too, but the most basic of them, which often get ignored, is that it is the absence of a tiny dot called intent. It was intent or a will to perform that was missing in the system. It is by removing that tiny dot of intent from our people's thought process and approach others got an opportunity to leverage the situation in their favor and to benefit from that state of affairs. It is the lack of intent to perform that our economy was in its worst form, under one of the most acclaimed economists of global repute. Bharat was a member of the Fragile Five Club, and there were apprehensions that its fall can cause global economic turmoil as well. Today, Bharat is seen as an engine of global growth and hope amid a gloomy global economic environment. Be it corona pandemic or Russia-Ukraine war Indut crisis, if there is one country on which the entire world and global business community bet, is Bharat. So, what has changed, and how have things turned around? One of the key achievements of the current government, in the last 9 years of its tenure is that it has placed all those missing dots at the places from where they were removed, fixed loopholes of all kinds and all sizes, physical, structural and moral as well, debugged the system, and made it functional again. And our Prime Minister himself validates the point when he often says that if intent of the leadership is right, the same system, the same process, and the same people can work. The fight for our national interests, in that light, is not limited to a particular lobby, interest group bloc, or nation. Somewhere the fight for the country's national interests is a fight for filling those tiny dots in the system or morale of the people that forces, outside and inside the border, attempt repeatedly to eliminate. These missing dots may look unworthy and unmentionable, but they have the potential to halt the trajectory of some of the most ambitious and large initiatives of the nation. And from our experiences of transforming India, we can say that the missing dots matter.